Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are embarking on a seriously fascinating, mind-bending, intellectual, and spiritual journey. We're unpacking a radical, highly metaphysical reinterpretation of ancient Hindu rituals, straight from the teachings of Swami Sivananda ParamaHamsa in the Siddha Vedam. If you've ever found yourself wondering about the hidden, internal meanings behind things like religious fasting or temple worship, you're in the right place. We're going to break this complex text down step by step.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll be moving from the external to the internal, covering 1. Rethinking fasts and rituals, 2. Decoding the 10 senses, 3. The metaphor of Vishnu's hands, 4. The illusion of stone idols, and finally, 5. The body as the temple.
Section 1. Rethinking fasts and rituals beyond diet and sleep.
Right out of the gate, the Siddha Vedam directly challenges a super common orthodox assumption. This idea that just skipping a meal or staying up all night is somehow a guaranteed ticket to spiritual salvation. The text sets up a really sharp contrast here. On one side, you have the literal fast, avoiding your daily staple like rice, eating fruit instead, staying up all night, or physically walking into a temple. But the teacher in the Siddha Vedam points out a pretty glaring logical flaw. Think about it. If simply changing your diet to wheat gets you into heaven, shouldn't everyone who eats wheat every day automatically be saved? It kind of misses the point entirely. On the other side, we have the Siddha Vedam fast, and this isn't about food at all. It's about focusing all the vibrations of your life energy, your value, inward, right back to its source. It's an internal energy shift, not just an external dietary swap.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true esoteric meaning behind these practices. Let's look at the fast of Ekadashi. Now, commonly people just treat this as a specific day on the lunar calendar. But if you look at the etymology, Ekam means 1 and Dasa means 10. Ekadashi literally means making 10 into 1. The text explains that this is actually a metaphysical act. It's about taking the life energy that is constantly leaking outward through our 10 senses, our indriyas, and consciously concentrating it into one single, incredibly powerful inward stream. Real fasting is about detaching your mind from outside distractions and pulling that life force back to the origin of the mind.
And this exact logic extends to other sacred days too. Pradosha represents unifying those 10 senses across the 3 qualities of nature, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Shivaratri represents unifying those 3 qualities into one stream to finally merge with the divine essence inside us. And I love this. The teacher makes this fantastic, purely logical argument about Shivaratri, which literally translates to Siva's night. He argues it is completely absurd to think that out of a 365-day year, Siva only has one literal night. I mean, days and nights are equal, right? So Shivratri can't just be a single date on a calendar. It has to represent a continuous, internal state of unifying our own energy.
Section 2. Decoding the 10 senses, doors and windows.
So if our main goal is to pull energy away from the 10 senses, we need to understand what those senses actually are, because the Siddha Vedam fundamentally redefines human anatomy in a metaphysical way. First, we have the 5 external senses, the Jnanendriyas, the skin, mouth, eye, nose, and ear. Now, the text makes a massive assertion here. It claims that these organs possess absolutely zero knowledge on their own. They aren't responsible for what you know. They are literally just the architectural features of your body. They're just the doors and windows of your body's house, basically allowing your life force or your mind to move in and out. The eye itself doesn't see. Your mind sees through the window of the eye.
Then we get to the Karmendriyas, which are traditionally viewed as the 5 organs of action. The common belief is that these are your literal anatomical limbs and organs, your tongue, hands, legs, and so on. But the Siddha Vedam firmly rejects that literal interpretation. The argument is, if these were just your everyday physical body parts, ancient texts wouldn't refer to them esoterically. Instead, the Siddha Vedam redefines them as your internal tools and the true workspaces for your life energy. They are the metaphysical fountainhead from which our energy actually manifests.
Section 3. Metaphor of Vishnu's hands, tools of the mind.
To really wrap our heads around these internal tools, let's explore a gorgeous mythological metaphor, the hands of Vishnu. What's absolutely brilliant here is how the text completely demystifies ancient Sanskrit symbolism. So in Hindu mythology, the deity Vishnu is depicted with 4 hands holding a Sankh, a Chakram, a Gada, and a Padmam. The common belief? These are just weapons and decorations. But the Siddha Vedam maps these items directly to human consciousness. The Sankh isn't just a shell, it represents the ear and our ability to hear. The Chakram, the spinning discus, that's the eye, representing our rapidly rotating perceiving mind. The Gada is the nose, symbolizing the vibration of our breath, our life energy, and the Padmam, the lotus, is the mouth, which connects to the lotus of the heart. So Vishnu's hands are actually the manifestations of our own mental energy reaching out into the world. And here is exactly how that energy flows outward. Step 1, it originates at a deep internal place called the Padam. Step 2, Vishnu, which the text defines as your own Paramatma, your mental force, comes out, manifesting through those 4 sensory hands. Step 3, this energy drips at the Payu, the spring or source. And finally, step 4, it rushes out into the external world through the Guda. The absolute crucial takeaway from the Siddha Vedam here is that enlightenment is achieved by quite literally reversing this process. When we stop this outward rush, when we stop our mental force from leaking out through our senses and pull it all the way back to its origin, we hit a state of perfect harmony, completely free from vibration.
Section 4. The Illusion of Stone Idols. Who created whom?
Okay, this brings us to a major turning point in the text. If all true spiritual work is actually an internal reversal of energy, well, what does that mean for the external world of religion? Let's take a look at the illusion of stone idols. The text adopts this brilliant Socratic style of questioning here, presenting a devastatingly simple logical puzzle. It goes like this. If God is the creator, the absolute first cause of the universe, how exactly can a human blacksmith, a carpenter, or a stonemason create God out of a piece of material? By pure logic, the artisan has to exist before the idol. So why on earth do we worship the creation rather than the creator? Or, for that matter, the artisan? Now, the defense you'll usually hear for this is a ritual called prana pratishtha, the belief that a priest can essentially infuse life, or prana, into an idol. But the Siddha Vedam objectively dismantles this idea. Imagine you have a wooden idol worshipped as God and a wooden mortar and pestle used to grind up food. Both might literally be carved from the exact same tree by the exact same carpenter, yet one is treated as divine and the other is just a kitchen tool. The teacher points out a massive logical trap here regarding prana pratishtha. Prana is life itself. If a priest truly possessed the power to take his own life force and shove it into a lifeless stone, well, that priest would die in the process. And furthermore, if they actually had this miraculous power to infuse life into dead matter, why waste it on statues? They should literally be walking through hospitals reviving the dead. This total logical deconstruction leads us to what is perhaps the most profound quote in the entire text. It says, "The God is in you. If there is no God in you, there is no God elsewhere." The teacher points out something so fascinating about human behavior here. Have you ever noticed that when we pray in a temple, we don't put our hands on the stone idol? No, we instinctively press our hands together over our own chest, over our own heart. Subconsciously, through our very body language, we are already acknowledging that the divine resides within us, not in a piece of carved stone. Section 5. The body as the temple, the ultimate destination.
So if the stone temple is just an external illusion and the real divine presence is internal, where exactly is the true sanctuary? Well, the crucial point is redefining the whole concept of the temple itself. The Sanskrit word for temple is kshetra. The Siddha Vedam reveals that the real kshetra is our gothra, meaning our physical body. But more specifically, it's the head. This is the location where the true prana pratishtha takes place. Remember, it's not some priest putting life into a statue. It is you concentrating your own outgoing life energy and installing it firmly back at its source, right within your own mind.
Ancient texts often talk about the temple having 9 doors, known as the Navadwaras. Now, Orthodox belief usually places some of these doors in the head and some in the lower body. But the Siddha Vedam radically corrects this view. 7 of the openings are obviously right there in the head, your 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth. The teacher argues that it makes absolutely no sense to have a holy temple where the final 2 sacred doors are the lower excretory organs. Instead, he takes the concepts of the lingam and the opisthalum, which are often associated with lower anatomical reproductive organs, and reinterprets them purely metaphysically. He moves them all the way up into the Brahmanadya, the center of the head, the space right between the eyebrows. The true place of divine origin, the true holy sanctuary, is entirely contained within the architecture of human consciousness. We've really journeyed a long way today, moving from literal fasting and stone idols all the way inward to the realization that the absolute highest spiritual technology is your own consciousness. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. If the true temple is located right there in your head, and the true deity is your own focused mind, how are you going to choose to direct your energy today? Are you going to let it leak out through the windows, or are you going to draw it inward to the sanctuary? Thank you so much for exploring the Siddha Vedam with me. Keep learning, keep focusing, and I will see you in the next explainer.